I'm in the center of Helsinki, Finland, by the railway station. Now, the reason why I'm here is because I am picking up, collecting a watch which I have had restored today from the master watchmaker who was tasked with doing this feat. Now, this watch was originally a hunter-cased pocket watch, and it's signed MONTANDON LOCLE. Now, when I got this piece, it came to me in the form of a movement only. So this is a movement dating from roughly the last quarter of the 19th century. This is a Lepine Mark V or Type 5 style movement. It's keywind and key set, and this movement now this is a very difficult project to achieve the actual creation of a case for such a piece, since most of this technology has been lost to time, and so we find very few such masters that are willing to undertake such a project. Now, this project has taken approximately 2 3/4 years, almost 3 years. So this is a very involved and very deep project, and I'm very interested to see how this turned out. This is one thing I had wanted to do was a watch restoration, MONTANDON watch restoration, and so today is the day, and I would like to take you on a journey to witness the results of this exciting project. So stay tuned and let us see how this turned out. So one of the things I should mention about this piece is, now this movement is signed MONTANDON LOCLE. Now this is a very typical signing name, and many makers were emulating this name, as MONTANDON LOCLE was synonymous with quality. Now this is very possibly connected with Montandon Frères. They may have been signing various different products under this MONTANDON LOCLE, as we do know that in the early 1880s, the son of Charles Adolphe Montandon, Charles Albert, did have a poinçon, a maker's mark, which he registered, and this was an eagle, and it was bearing the sign MONTANDON LOCLE. It's also very possible that these other relatives of theirs, close relatives, were also fabricating, may have also used this MONTANDON LOCLE. So this was someone close to Montandon Frères, or indeed Montandon Frères LOCLE. This is the so-called Esplanade Park. train station is in this direction, and it is next to the National Theatre. I would like to also mention a little bit about the watchmaker who was tasked with this endeavor. Now, this is Markus Luomas, who is a Finnish watchmaker and jeweler, and he's very knowledgeable. He's a graduate of the local koulu. This is the watchmaker school, which I believe is located in Espoo, which is part of the greater Helsinki metropolitan area. And he's very, very knowledgeable about not only watch history, but watch mechanics. And his, I've taken several pieces to him in the past, and he's always done wonders. So I'm quite excited to see the results of this master endeavor of nearly 3 years. There's a park with an observatory in this direction. This is quite historic. Helsinki is a little over 150 years old, I believe. The first capital of Finland was Turku, and it was only replaced in modern times by Helsinki after independence, actual independence, 1917. So this shop is closed today. However, the watchmaker has graciously agreed to open for the purposes of handing over this finished restoration project. So I just came back from picking up the watch and totally impressed. This was really beyond my expectations. So the next thing I would like to do is to provide the revelation what this watch looks like, how it turned out, but I think that he will also be very impressed with the results. So let me present a fully restored MONTANDON LOCLE timepiece, keywind, key set from approximately 1875. Certainly the 1870s, but most probably before the early 1880s. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. So I would like to present a fully restored 1870s era MONTANDON LOCLE silver pocket watch. Now this pocket watch project has, the restoration that is, has been running nearly 4 years. And this is something that is quite difficult to undertake. It is very difficult to find individuals that have the needed acumen. Many of these arts have been lost from the 19th century, such as the specific closure of a hunter case. Even this type of technology, this is what would have been referred to as secret, or secrets, and they have become secrets because very few people understand how to recreate such that you press the button and the case can pop open easily and then can also be closed. But it's very, very many aspects, and the master that undertakes such a project must be able to grasp this type of this depth of very high precision mechanics. So I would like to show you the restoration, and we have this. It is rendered in this case, which is in very noble woods. I believe it was oak. The silver monogram M from MONTANDON, and this is just incredible. So let's open the box and take a look. I hope you enjoy. So this is the box here, which is very finely crafted, that every detail is really observed in this high quality presentation. So we will pull this up and find such. Now this is a very nice plush interior. Now this is a keywind key set piece. We have a silver chain to hold it so that you can keep it on connected to a vest, for example. Now the watch itself, as we see, is immaculately cleaned up. Now this entire movement was totally cleaned. There were elements on the plate that needed to be corrected, damages from the use, and this is just very, very excellent, this whole solution for containing the entire set. And the key is also silver and is finely crafted. Let us look at the watch itself. So it is functioning very accurately. This was tested electronically, and it's keeping very good time. Now, if we inspect the edges, we find this guillotage, this engraving, floral engraving. This is quite highly detailed. But now, when we go to the reverse side, the maker has kindly made this with the MONTANDON crest, the MONTANDON coat of arms with the anchor and the 3 stars. And now this, and one of our original ideas was to make this in color enameled with this top quadrant would be in red with 3 golden stars, a silver anchor on an azure or blue background. And in the end, for a multiplicity of reasons, it was decided to leave the enamel off. But this would also be a possible upgrade possibility for the future. This has yet to be remained. whether this will be done. Now, we examine the key. There is a secret to this piece now. Now, as this is a key set, key wind, one does need to be able to get into the watch for setting and such. And the end of the key is depressed. This lever is pushed down, and let's see if it's very difficult to do with the gloves. And slided. See if very difficult to do with the gloves. Try this one without. So this lever must be depressed, and then we find the engraving, and this is the key winding, and this is the time setting. So we have handmade for Montandon family by Markus Luomas, which is very nice. And then the silver content is also included. This is very good solution, as this is something that is rather difficult. And we keep this depressed, and we are able to return it to the locked position. So another possible solution for this case, I had thought a little bit that it would look nice, for example, to have gold writing Montandon LOCLE and the serial number. And the serial number for this piece was 24163. So that's another possible idea for the future. But at this point, I'm very happy with this restoration. This is definitely something that was worth the wait. And the value of this piece has been augmented very markedly. That now that this has been restored, we do have a very, very expensive item. So this is a unique piece, and it is the hope that more such pieces will be attempted by other people in the future. So I hope you enjoy the restoration video and on this newly acquired beautiful object that was originally a movement. Now I will provide towards the end a historical sort of in pictures and videos what this started out with, and so that you can see from where it came till the end product. So I hope this is interesting, and I appreciate you for your attention and your viewing. And thank you very much. So we see the level of expertise that has been achieved here. This is incredible. This is a feat. Now, one of the reasons that I originally established this channel was to bring attention to this long-lost brand, which was a high celebrity name during the 19th century, and to rediscover and document the history of this brand and these makers. So this is definitely a milestone achieved, and for which we have a flute of champagne. So to the endeavors of this watchmaker, thank you for making this fine object, bringing it back to life, restoring it, giving it a second life. And this is definitely a moment which needs to be savored, as this was an incredible feat. So to Markus Luomas, the watchmaker of Helsinki, who restored a Montandon LOCLE 1870s Lepine type 5 caliber movement. Cheers. So just a little bit of the backstory of the original object that I acquired. Now, the movement originally came from an eBay auction, which I believe the price was somewhere around $75 for the movement. Now, this is a brass movement, so-called Lepine style, Mark V, I believe, for caliber. Now, this is also called a Geneva bar movement in the parlance of watchmakers. However, it's officially known as a Lepine style movement. And this is a fairly standard movement style which dominated the 19th century. And this iteration in particular lasted really long, perhaps as long as 50 years or so. But certainly we see these earlier iterations of this type of movement before the mid-century. The earlier iterations, these eventually became this fifth iteration, which we see here, and this would last until the end of the 19th century. Now, so this is a brass movement, and it had an enamel dial signed Montandon LOCLE. Now, on the outward semblances, one was not able to see the serial number. And this is generally the case with these pieces, that they have a serial number on the inside of the movement itself, and when one inspects the back side, reverse side of the dial, one finds the last 2 to 3 digits of the serial number on the dial. And this dial was made for this movement. Now, these movements were obtained in lots by the établisseur who was fabricating watches. Now, they purchased, often they would purchase various specialized parts from specialized craftsmen that were focused on specifically a certain part. For example, certain people were only doing stone cutting and stones and gems. This piece has 15 jewels. The watchmaker who restored it did add extra jewels, but this now is a 15-jewel movement. And what we know about this, we see the reverse side. We have 63, and that relates to the fabricator had a basic number, in this case 241, and 63 represents the last portion of the établisseur's own bookkeeping. Now, they would sell this piece, and the facture, the invoice, would be generally the same number as the watch serial number, so that these were correlating together. Now, here we do want to discuss other questions about the history of this piece. Now, who fabricated this piece? Now, Montandon LOCLE is a name that was synonymous with very high-quality watch fabrication. The name was known as a celebrity brand, and this was witnessed at world exhibitions, so-called, these Expositions Universelles, which lasted throughout the 19th century. We see these locally in France before the 1850 period, but in 1851, the Great London Exhibition, it was the first truly international exhibition, and after this became a pattern, and we see this name winning golds and silvers and taking various prizes at these shows, and the name spread by word of mouth across the world. And we see this in Australia, in America, in South America. The Mexican market was quite big for Montandon furs. Now, with Montandon LOCLE, reverting to this, that this is a name aspired to, and there were attempts to have forgeries of this product because of its celebrity status, and clearly the price of these pieces was significantly higher than other pieces. Now, with this piece, we do know that Montandon furs in the early 1880s they were in a period, this is after Charles Adolf had left. He was slowly moving out of the business as his health failed, and his son Charles Albert took over the business. And we do see what looks like an attempt to depart from Montandon Furs brand, and this may have been because of various bankruptcy proceedings that were happening at that time. Those debts were eventually quashed amicably with all the owed parties, and the company was able to reestablish itself on a decent foot. However, we do see by Christmas Eve, December 24th of 1884, we do see a pension, a maker's mark, registered by Charles Albert Montandon of LOCLE, and this is an eagle with simply Montandon LOCLE, and this was registered by him, and it is very possible that he was signing watches also Montandon LOCLE, simply Montandon LOCLE, and this could have been during this period. This does look like a piece that was fabricated from circa 1875 to 1885. This is very likely period for this timepiece. So, and we do see other Montandon LOCLEs in this general serial number range, this in the low to mid 20,000s. So this is very possible. This could be very possibly related to Montandon Frères or Charles Adolf and Charles Albert Montandon, who were still continuing the business and continuing watch fabrication. And they would do so up until about 1887, 1888, when the son, Charles Albert, would eventually liquidate the business and move into cocoa farming in the Caribbean. So we do have these strong possibilities that it is either one of the Montandon Frères business owners that was behind this. There could have been other close relatives associated with this sort of general watch signing. And this cannot be ruled out. It is plausible. However, there is more than likely possibility that it is related to the folks that were establishing watches on the Rue de la Côte in LOCLE. So I would like to give you as much information as possible about this interesting topic. Now, we know that these types of pieces are, although this is a high-grade movement, it would have been most likely a less expensive version. This is not a deluxe category of watch product. This would have been probably obtainable by the so-called middle class or working classes, this variety of piece. However, it would have been a sturdy piece, and technologically it was of its times. Now, we're finding that by the mid-1890s that there is a departure from keys, and this had been slowly the case. They were, especially with American mass production, that they were turning more to stem winding variations, and this old key winding novelty, which this movement has, was slowly disappearing. One more note about the Montandon LOCLE maker's mark, which Charles Albert, or this also could be a Charles Adolf, but it's probably Charles Albert. Now, this is specifically registered for boîte de montre. These are cases and movements. So this movements, this for the manufacture of movements. This could have been manufactured by Montandon Frères for realization on the market under the Montandon name. And this is a very strong possibility that this would have been resold as a part, even though subcontractors were used for these parts. We do have this possibility that Montandon Frères was selling movements provided to them. They assembled and regulated, and then realized these for other makers who would use these in finishing the project or the product. So that cannot be totally excluded. So I will leave you with this, and I hope you enjoyed this documentation. Thank you.